This is the first of a few videos I'm going to put up about how to deal with multiple choice questions from the AQA A-Level Economics paper, paper 3. These are questions taken from June 2017 and the sort of questions that most students, most candidates got wrong. So the first one I've taken is question 20. Which reads, a bank makes a new loan to a customer, all other things being equal, which combination of events A, B, C or D shows what will happen? And then you've got the choice of do the bank's liabilities increase or fall, do the bank's assets increase or fall, and does the money supply increase or fall? So if you haven't seen this question again, why don't you pause the video and see what you think is the correct answer. Okay, so hopefully you got answer A. Don't worry if you didn't. I think B was quite a big distractor for many people. And as I said, I think it's only 36% of candidates got this question right. So if you didn't, you're in the majority. Let's think about what's going on here. We're looking at a bank. In this case, they're lending to a customer. It's a commercial bank like HSBC, TSB, Barclays, something like that. They're a lender and they're a deposit taker from customers and businesses. And what you've got to remember here is that if we're looking at the bank's liabilities, the bank's assets, what we're talking about is it's the bank's balance sheet. Now, a balance sheet for a bank or for any business is made up of their assets and liabilities, and as it is a balance sheet, these will balance. So your assets should equal your liabilities. Or what we're talking about though when we're talking about a bank's assets? Well, a bank may have assets in terms of things that are owned by the bank itself. Their assets could be things like the cash that they've got in notes and coins that's available for customers who want to make withdrawals, things like advances. Now, within these advances we're talking about loans, so that's money that they've lent out to customers and businesses, and that's an asset to them, and also it generates an income for them too on interest. And could be other things. There's quite a lot of different assets you could include, but for example it could also include fixed assets like the buildings that the bank has, the retail premises. So those are examples of its assets, whereas the liabilities are things that are owed by the bank. So for example it could be when people are setting up savings accounts, it could be anything that they put into their account as a deposit. It could be the bank is borrowing money itself from other banks and financial institutions in order to make the loans that it's giving out to customers. So if we've got an increase in a loan by whatever amount the person's loan, then we've got to have an increase in assets. If we have an increase in assets, we must have an increase in our liabilities for the balance sheet to balance. Okay, assets are made up from the liabilities without having more deposits or money borrowed by the bank liabilities. The bank is not able to generate loans. So, therefore, obviously the answer is A. I'm not going to worry too much about the money supply. I think that's a little bit of an easier concept here. Obviously a bank lending out money increases the amount of money that's circulating in the economy. So A was the correct answer. I hope that helps.